Hello, amazing entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 127, and today we're going to be talking about what I would do if I was starting a brand new business in 2018. Let's get started. So now that I'm in the multiple six-figure realm in my business and I'm really creating a lot of momentum, I get lots of questions from people about my startup journey. People ask me, Tash, what is it that you did? How come you got so much momentum? What were the things that you spent money on when you first started your business? And whilst I'm totally happy to answer all of those questions, sometimes it can be a little bit irrelevant because what happened back in when I started my business and what the online landscape looked like was very different. These days, there are so many more new tools and free things that you can use to get your business off the ground. And there's a different landscape to the online business world. When I first started my business in 2013, content marketing was still the number one way that people were getting traction and audiences. Facebook groups were only new and not a lot of people were using them at that point in time. A Facebook group that got to 10,000 members was really rare back then, but there are so many of them in the online business world now. So I thought instead what I would share with you is if I started a business from scratch again in 2018, what would be the types of things that I would do? What would I focus on? Where would I spend my money? And maybe where wouldn't I be spending my money to get myself started in online business? The first thing that I would do is to hire a coach. And I did do this when I first started my business. However, when I first started, I worked with someone who was $4,000 for a single day. And so I had that one-day session with the person. I had lots of great ideas at the end of that one-day coaching intensive, but I didn't actually have strategies. I didn't have someone supporting me through the implementation process. I didn't have someone giving me feedback once I had actually implemented some of those things. So if I was starting my business over again in 2018, even though business strategy is my thing and I love it so much, I would still work with a strategist, mentor / coach to have that connection with someone on a weekly basis or a fortnightly basis to keep me moving, keep me accountable, and help me with my strategy. Help me understand what was working, get that external perspective. I probably would do it in a group situation, to be 100% honest with you, because I have discovered through the last 4 or so years running my business that I actually do better when I learn in a group environment, when I have like that lady posse of people who are doing the same thing as me. I've got this hyper competitive kind of thing going on, so that really motivates me to do well and to get my homework done and all of those sorts of things. So I definitely think I would be looking for a group environment where for my investment I get a high touch, high interest in me coach, but also that really beautiful nurturing group environment as well. The second thing I would do if I was starting my business from scratch today is to network fast. I would go to any and all events that I could see, that I could find, particularly in my local area. I would create local networking events as well. You can go into any Facebook group these days and say, hey, who wants to meet up for a coffee? Let's get a bunch of us together. I would be doing that so much. And I would also be building my network through things like paid courses and programs. I did that when I first started my business, and I am so glad that I did. My first mastermind that I joined, I actually created out of people who were doing the Lucky Bitch Money Bootcamp with me, with Denise Duffield-Thomas. And so there were 4 of us who got together and decided to form our own mastermind. And that was super powerful for me in the startup phase of my business. And that was the only thing I could really afford to do because it was free once I'd spent that initial money on working with that coach for a single day. So I would be looking in Facebook groups, paid courses and programs, and local networking events to create that really big network really quickly. And not with the perspective of what can I get from this, but what can I give to this, and how can we create peer support for each other. Number 3, I would definitely do it lean. So as I said, I spent $4,000 on a coach when I first started my business. I also spent $1,500 on a program on how to build my own website. And then I had to spend $660 paying someone else to build my website because it was such a silly idea for me to think that I could do that myself. And I also paid for a social media course. And that money that I spent, even that money that I spent, I don't know that I really selected the right things to spend money on, the right courses, that kind of thing. So I would be looking at creating $10,000 worth of income in my business before I spent money on things like websites, advanced strategy programs, getting my photos taken, logo, branding. I wouldn't be spending any money on those things in startup. And I was very lucky I didn't have enough money when I first started my business, so I didn't spend a heap of money on those sorts of things, and I'm really glad that I didn't. I had a friend who was a photographer who took some photos for me. I think I paid $300 for my first set of photos. I had a friend who was a graphic designer who put my logo together for me. I think I paid $50 for my logo, and I picked my own color palette, and it was based on the teal that's in my Tash Corbin logo, and that was all I spent money on. And that wasn't even right at the start. The branding that I did was actually probably maybe 6 months into it, maybe 4 or 5 months into it, was when I spent that money on getting a logo and getting a little bit of design work done. So I definitely focus on income generating activities first, create that really secure, awesome network, get out there and start making offers in Facebook groups, get my first clients, get that traction, and then look at how I can invest my money to up level the business from there. Number 4, I would definitely be focusing on webinars. When I first started my business, I did run a webinar every month for the first 3 or 4 months, but I kind of got out of the habit of doing my webinars. Even though I loved them, they created great results, and they were really good for my cash flow, for creating reach and growing my list. And I really loved doing them. So if I started my business from scratch in 2018, I would actually aim to do a webinar every second week and just give value, create amazing freebies, spread the word as much as possible, and become known for delivering amazing high quality webinars. I definitely think webinars are one of the quickest ways to create that know, like, and trust factor, and also to create a sense of connection with your audience. It's also the perfect place for you to try out different offers, different messaging, different ways of describing the problem and the challenge that you're solving. And they're really, really quick and easy for me to deliver. They're definitely in my zone of genius. So that would definitely be number 4. Number 5, I would build my system early and actually hire a team a lot earlier than I did. And I would hire a team in a really low cost, really cost-effective way. So one of the things that I think I probably didn't do really effectively when I first started my business, and something that I think is really relevant now in 2018 in particular, is that it's one thing to be able to go and get cash quickly. It's one thing to be able to go and hustle in Facebook communities, sell offers, get people in the door, get those first clients, get the money rolling in, and that kind of thing. But it's another thing to create a scalable system. So a system such as consistently offering webinars, making offers into that, and bringing in new VIP clients every single month. Or a system in which you're getting your blogs out there, having a content upgrade or a freebie that's available at the end, and then upselling people into working with you and really making sure that you're at every opportunity inviting people to check out what you have to offer and the work that's the ways that they can work with you. So I would definitely look at systemizing my marketing a lot earlier and really quickly if I was starting a business from scratch in 2018. So they're the 5 things that I would do if I was starting my business in 2018. I'd love to know what you would be doing or what your insights are into getting off the ground in 2018. Come on over to the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook group and share using hashtag podcast aha any ahas that you've had from this video, as well as any questions that you might have about this content. Also, I wanted to give you a very special offer. If you are starting a business in 2018, my Lean Startup School is normally $49, and it gives you those really good foundations on which to build your business lean, and it follows some of these principles that I've shared with you today. If you'd like to grab it for just $1, we have a special coupon code for you over with the show notes for this blog on the tashcorbin.com website. So if you go to tashcorbin.com/127, because this is episode number 127, you'll find the special link there to sign up to Lean Startup School for just $1. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. Until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine.